Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters and Las Vegas Live. We're coming to you from the Bellagio in Las Vegas. Let me tell you, we're at CCon 3 and Brad Turner, Sean Garrity, they put together this amazing event. And my next guest is Tony Drexel Smith, who is the founder or principal over at Tony Drexel Smith, Inc. Tony, welcome.
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks so much.
All right, so a lot to talk about here today. So I heard some news about Sterling. We got to get into that. We got some other things as well. But before we do all of that, I need some backstory. Sean, Brad, how'd you get here? Who'd you know? Like, talk to me.
Well, look, I've been in the business of business finance for 30 years. So a lot of these people I've been in circles with for a couple decades or more. Bill Walsh has been looking to get me more involved in these events. So I would say Bill.
Once Bill gets Brad, you, once he ropes you in, you get in the Bill Walsh circle. You're going to be on a lot of stages, yeah?
Yeah, no doubt. And I've been busy working. So now I can spend more time with Bill, run around the country, meeting amazing people, right?
Yeah. No, that's good stuff. So I know you run a venture fund and you have other businesses. But before we get into that, let's go further back in time. So how did you get started in business in general? Where'd that start for Tony?
Sure. So I bought my first restaurant right out of the military back in 1993. My family had been in the restaurant business since I was a teenager. So I had 10 years experience by the time I was 23, right?
Did you think that you were going into the
100%.
You knew you were going to be a restaurant?
Yeah. When I was 13 years old, I built a balsa wood restaurant of what I felt my dream restaurant would be. My family owned 3 restaurants. And so I grew up around it. And so, yes, I thought I was going to go to Cornell University and become a restaurateur at a pretty young age.
What about hospitality? Like what drew you in?
I think it's just that, first of all, naturally just meeting people, working with people comes easy to me. So the front of the house came easy.
Yeah.
I really enjoy being a server where you get that instant gratification as a teenager where you did a good job and you got a tip, which felt great. It was cool being a teenager, having a car and a motorcycle and having a life as a young man.
So you were already making bank. That was it. It was like, I'm making money.
Right. I mean, it was easy for me. It just came naturally because my family, again, taught me since I was young anyway. So I was in the military, and my last year in the Marine Corps, I looked to buy a business, and I bought a restaurant, and I started building that restaurant and going to college at the same time. And I shifted my college degree to business finance because obviously I needed to learn how to finance companies. And I learned real quick how hard it is. I didn't know then what I know now. There's nearly 100 ways to finance a business. And so I tried every which way from Sunday. And in California in 1994, a new law came about that you can no longer smoke in restaurants. So I needed to get a permit, and I needed to get construction to build a rooftop bar so we could keep smoking. And so I had to go get loans. And so I learned how to do that. I went through the whole process through the SBA, through the bank. And the next thing you know, people were coming to my restaurant asking me, how did you do it?
Wow.
And so in 94, I started writing business plans and putting together SBA packages for other people. In 1995, I made more money doing that than owning a restaurant.
Get out.
All right, seriously. So by the end of 95, I sold my restaurant, and I've been doing business finance consulting, packaging, capital formation, planning, business valuations, M&A work ever since 31 years.
Whoa. Based on the amount of time you've been through multiple cycles, whether it was, tech wreck, whether it was how did you weather all of those through this type of industry and in that business? I'm just curious what that looked like, because you saw the highs, you've seen some really low lows.
Absolutely.
2008 in that business,
100%.
COVID,
I was very fortunate because in the restaurant business, you're just taught to work through everything because everything can go wrong does. And then being a Marine, right? So I was always taught you never quit. You might have to pivot, but you don't ever quit. And so over 3 decades, sure, I've met 11,000 entrepreneurs. I've engaged 1,600 people in putting together capital formation packages.
Wow.
And so I've seen a lot of things be tough, but it's really about being prepared. The definition of luck is being prepared when the time is right. And so just continuing to be careful about who I work with. Over time, you learn more and more about what's good, what's bad. But most important was I took 10 years of my career to focus on what are all the capital types available? What are all the scenarios that make that work? What are the variables? There's 13 basic principles you need to know for every deal. And if you know what those 13 principles are and you apply them, then you can figure out what's the right type of capital for the situation. So And I spent 10 years building software. Then, of course, AI. I was working with IBM Watson before most people understood AI as something we could all apply and use every day.
Yeah.
We have apps that run today that are AI driven, where we can tell the client, hey, here's these 13 principles. Within 5 to 10 minutes, we can apply the 100 ways to capitalize a company and now determine what's the right type of capital for the situation. Do they qualify? What documentation do they need? And then we produce a document called the Truth in Capital Report, which says how much time should it take to raise this capital? How much should it cost?
Yeah.
How many people are involved? And how much paperwork is there? If we can determine all that ahead of time and make sure everyone's on board, then we can move forward.
Yeah. So you mentioned 13 different, I believe you called them principles. Now, we don't got time to do all 13 today. And by the way, so I'll give you an opportunity to leave your, contact, things like that, so people can connect with you that want to learn more about these principles and working with your group in general. But maybe give us a couple, and start the easy one maybe, and then give us a more advanced one.
Sure.
Like for me, give the easy one for me, okay?
Well, as I mentioned to you earlier, I operate 5 different entities, and the one that we're talking about now is FinFire. So that's the Financial Industry Network for Intermediary-Ready Enterprises. FinFire.com, FinFire.
Yeah.
So the app we're talking about is driven by FinFire. We have an amazing team that actually works on, so it's not all AI. There's human interaction as well. But FinFire asks these 13 questions. And the very first one is, what industry are you in? Industry, sector, subsector. Are you, at what stage is your business? Are you at an idea stage? Are you at a growth stage? Are you looking to exit? What stage you're at? There's a lot of different stages of a business, right? And how much capital have you raised? What type of capital have you raised? How much capital are you raising now? In how many tranches? And what are you going to use it for? And how are you going to pay it back? Right? If we understand those basics, how much, what do you need, and where are you going to spend it? How do I get it back?
Yeah.
Those are principles that have to be discussed. And very often when I meet entrepreneurs, and when I say very often, most of the time, they're seeking the wrong type of capital for the situation that they're in, and they're banging their head against the wall. It's so hard to raise capital. You hear that all the time. Well, maybe you're trying to do a Reg B 506B package to do equity, but you're not in that situation right now. You're actually maybe doing something else. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe they're doing regular.
So they might have the ladder on the wrong wall, just all together, and they're climbing up, and they feel like they're making progress and they're getting somewhere, but it's like, but you're going after the wrong idea.
Right. Maybe they're a friends and family raise, but they've already jumped into a regulation crowdfunding. Or maybe they're
and this isn't intuitive though. Like
of course.
If they're not working with a professional
That's
or
right.
somebody that's done this many, many times, it's not intuitive.
That's right. And that's why we created FinFire, because every VC is promoting their venture group.
Yeah.
Every private equity group is promoting themselves. A hard money lender, they're promoting their money.
Yeah.
So all of them are pitching to these entrepreneurs, and the entrepreneurs are going to take whoever can give them money. Very often they're desperate, they need it, and they don't necessarily understand there are better ways to do it.
Yeah.
But most frustrating is the entrepreneur is having trouble raising capital and they just don't know why. And so when we can help them get redirected, that feels great.
Yeah. So I want to switch it up a bit here.
Sure.
You're talking about a deal that's recently, I believe, closed, Sterling Club.
That's right.
We're at the Bellagio, so we can
A couple miles away.
Yeah, we're in Las Vegas. We got to make some Vegas centric. So talk to me about that.
Sure. We wanted a platform for our venture group and for FinFire and the other entities that we have. We like to work with angel investors, high net worth individuals, family offices, and ultra wealthy.
Yeah.
And so we became members of the Sterling Club. And that's a members only private club where you can do events, you can have dinners, you can smoke a cigar.
Yeah.
And so we met amazing people there. And when we found out it was going to be for sale, our venture group led the purchase of the Sterling Club. We just acquired it May 20th. So it's only been about 6 weeks or so.
Wow.
We're in a 100-day transition right now. We hired an amazing team. We have a general manager that I'm super proud of, a president, Le Cordon Bleu chef, a food and beverage director, CMO, CFO. And so that team of 6 leaders are now in there every day running it.
Wow.
So I don't have to be there every day, which is awesome. I can continue to run the businesses and have the Sterling Club be a platform for us to be able to now have our clients be able to do their board meetings, their shareholder meetings, promote their businesses to investors, and meet great people that want to invest into them.
Talk about, just for those at home that maybe haven't been or haven't heard of it, just talk a little bit about the layout of the property, just a little bit.
Sure. So the Sterling Club is located right across from the convention center and the Westgate Hotel on Paradise. There are 4 towers around it. called the Turnberry Place. So these are 714 luxury condos that the Sterling Club was built to support them and private member-only people outside of the Turnberry. That was 20 some years ago. In its heyday, it was serving a couple thousand private members and guests and events. But since 2008 and then COVID, they had a couple ownership changes and things have been a little challenging. March 1st, we made an offer to purchase it. It's a 73,000 square foot, 4-story facility.
It's massive. Yeah.
It's massive. Yeah. It's on 4.5 acres. It has its own resort pool.
Location's insane.
Yep. Yeah. The location's awesome. The resort pool has its own restaurant and bar. It's got pickleball, the only clay tennis courts in town. The second floor of the building is all longevity, wellness, fitness. So med spa, salon, fitness gym, inside pool, everything you can imagine, the locker rooms, the facials and the massages, all of that's on the second floor. The third floor has 5 different meeting spaces that can range from 20 people to 280. We just have one of the people in this room here reserve all 5 rooms for 4 straight days in a couple months, which is possible if you want to really throw a major event. We had a group in there yesterday that wanted to reserve the entire outdoors for 2 days because they want to throw a couple pool parties for all of their employees. And want to be able to have access to everything.
Insane.
Yeah.
So for everybody at home, I want you to see something next. This is how deals are done. So does it have a room for Las Vegas Live?
Of course it does. Of course it does.
Does it have his podcast studio for me? See, hold on. That's the with 'em. I tell people all the time. They're like, so how do you do these deals? How do you meet these people? I'm like, you got to be a little self-interested for the hosts out there. If you're building a platform or something else, this man just told me he bought one of the most amazing places in Las Vegas. It's huge, 73,000 square feet. Las Vegas Live might have a home, everyone. All right.
Yeah, it's like 10 mansions in one building. It's pretty wild,
So what's next for you? I mean, multiple businesses, multiple things. What's next? What else? What's on the horizon?
Well, our venture group really likes to work with early stage companies, help them get financed and grow. We're working with a bond group. We're working with VCs. We do a lot of support work for private equity groups and family offices. So that's my goal. I mean, now that the Sterling Club is being managed by this amazing team, I can continue to use that as a platform, but then really go on and continue to do due diligence, documentation, meeting great people, and hopefully helping them grow. And look, we all know the reality. We're 3 years out from fusion energy combined with AI, combined with quantum computing. And with those 3, I think the next 2 to 3 years is going to be absolutely fascinating for all of us, socially, economically, financially, spiritually. It's going to be a wild ride. And I don't know if you saw, but just yesterday in the news, they announced for the first time that 6 quantum computers were able to put together the perfect fit for fusion technology.
Is wild.
That was yesterday's major announcement. So it's happening. 10 years ago, we weren't talking about AI every day. 3 years ago, people started really using it. 2 years ago, it became a household thing. That's going to be quantum about 2 years from now. And then fusion technology is just going to become the same. So when all 3 of those are working in tandem, it's going to be wild.
Amazing. All right. So last thing I want you to do, I want you to look directly into the camera for this one. What is one thing when it comes to capital, especially for the entrepreneurs out there? So this one's especially for you. What's one thing that's often misunderstood that maybe even you wish you knew when you were, just getting started? So I want you to look into the camera for that one.
Look, everyone that comes to us seeking capital says, I need $1 million for my $1 billion idea. It is a joke in our office because it's said so very often. Understand exactly how much money you need over what period of time, what you're going to use it for, how you're going to repay it is really the critical story. And so a million becomes $1 billion is not a story that's really well accepted, but it's spoken all the time. So get very specific and have a budget. And within that budget, there's nothing wrong with having a reserve for that. Maybe there's some extra capital that may come up later that you didn't think about. But knowing your numbers and knowing exactly what you need and what the people that you're getting that capital from, what are they getting in return for it?
Wonderful. And last thing, look into the camera as well. How do people follow up? How do they connect with you? I think you're all over the place on social media and otherwise. How do people connect?
My brand is Tony Drexel Smith for a reason, because we have our venture group, we have FinFire, we have other companies. And so Tony and Tony Drexel Smith, TonyDrexelSmith.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, it's all Tony Drexel Smith is the brand.
Fantastic. And for everybody at home, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so you can just click on the links and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters or Las Vegas Live and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. You heard me correct. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So hit that subscribe or hit that follow button. And Tony, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.